What's up, everybody? Welcome back and happy Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Andrea Myers, bringing you guys your daily hail forecast, sponsored as always by C3 Group, Merlin Law Group, American Contractor, and Atlas. They're going to be popping up throughout the show here so you guys can see a little bit about them, but go check them out in the description to this video as always. Today, we have hail possible through the plains as well as the Ohio Valley, but the prevalent risk is going to be wind, particularly through the Michigan, upper Indiana, and Ohio areas. Getting into that and then talking into Detroit specifically, as well as Grand Rapids, Fort Wayne, etc. We're going to go over all the city's risks into today for hail, wind, and tornadoes. Then into tomorrow, we got another chance for storms through the upper Midwest. Minnesota, Wisconsin, you guys are in it. We'll see if anything hits Minneapolis or Duluth area, and going to cover that into today. But starting out right now, out in the Ohio Valley and the Great Lakes area, already got that line of storms that's been pushing off of the Great Lakes through Grand Rapids and making its way into the Lansing area. Got a severe thunderstorm warning or severe thunderstorm watch in effect here through that pink polygon area, and with that they're expecting up to 75-mile-an-hour winds, maybe some ping pong ball sized hail, and a tornado or two possible through that highlighted region. Then we got more storms forming out behind that, and we'll talk a little bit about what those are going to do in the coming hours. Clear as day throughout the northern plains. Totally different story here. Getting ready for storms to form with this upper level shortwave trough that we're seeing right there. A little disturbance in our jet stream that could bring us some storms down through that region, but it's going to be very scattered. This is going to be the bulk of our risk with this larger scale trough as that weather moves through. Now, it's hot and it's staying hot. That's been the story for a while here, but what is that heat and humidity doing to our instability? Here's what we got through the Ohio Valley. Again, once you get that upper scale disturbance moving through and you do have that heat and you do have all that humidity, we got 70-degree dew points through the area, so it's muggy. You get those higher instability values, so like we're seeing right now through Ohio, Indiana, parts of Michigan. And this is going to be really when storms are starting to ramp up through that area, so they got plenty to work off of if they're trying to go for hail or wind. And then through the Central Plains, it's super scattered, and the storm risk through that area is also going to be super scattered, but we could potentially see some hail through that corridor into today. So watching that as that kind of fades out into the overnight hours, but here's what our storms are going to be looking like. Starting out with the Central Plains, again, there's just going to be a couple of things popping up by around 5 p.m. along 25 and around Bismarck. Just a couple here and there that could potentially produce some hail. Some of it could be in the ping pong ball-ish range as it tracks off to the east, but storms in general are going to be very few and far between through this corridor. Again, the bulk of the action is going to be here through the Ohio Valley. There we go with that first band along I-94 in a couple hours here, and then a second wave moving in behind it. So that's going to be, again, for the Grand Rapids area. Storms coming off the lake in a couple hours. It's 2 p.m. Central, so you guys, I believe, are in Eastern, so that'll be around 3 p.m. for you all. And then watching this into the future, okay, track, so that's going to shift off to the east, making a run at Detroit. Lots of scattered storms going on through northern Michigan, and as that continues to shift off to the east now, we see storms starting to develop out to the west through Illinois, through Indiana, parts of Ohio. Could get some scattered hailers out on the back end of that storm system with lots of wind tracking through Cleveland, up into Buffalo, and out east as that system tracks out that way. So that's kind of the setup that we're going to see in the next few hours for the Ohio Valley. All of that together is going to be our hail risk into today. Again, this is going to be super few and far between through the northern plains. So Denver, Fargo, Pierre, North Platte, and you're in it. But it's going to be just a few popcorn storms here and there today, possibly getting up to ping pong ball sized hail with the strongest cells that develop. Out east, again, it's looking like ping pong ball to maybe some golf ball sized hail down through where storms stay a little bit more isolated in northern Indiana right now. And then where wind takes over, we're going to probably see lower hail sizes. But Detroit, you guys have a ton of storm coverage that's going to be tracking over you guys into this afternoon. Same for you guys in like Lansing, out in Grand Rapids. So you got a few chances to see some severe hail into today. So moderate marker for you guys, low end for everybody else across the board there. So here's your city forecast. If you guys are in or generally around the Detroit area, storms should be moving in by around 4 p.m. Eastern. And again, multiple waves is going to give you guys a really long storm track timeline. So should be moving out of the area by around midnight. So I guess I should say 12 a.m., but midnight. And then max hail size, we kind of talked about it, ping pong to maybe some golf balls through central Michigan, but Detroit proper should be seeing more of wind. So maybe up to some ping pong ball sized stones with any isolated cells that are remaining as it moves through, and anything larger than that should be a low chance. For wind, again, that's kind of the main risk on the table for today through the Ohio Valley, and it's pretty much the same through the Central Plains and Northern Plains here, low-end chance for everybody across the board out there. But once you get east of Chicago, that's where our chances really tick up for severe hail into today. Detroit's got or severe wind into today. As that line pretty much tracks eastward over Detroit, over Cleveland, you got a high-end chance there. Fort Wayne, you got a chance as well as that band pushes through. Columbus even, you got a moderate as the remnants of that line shift downward. And then once things get out towards like Pittsburgh area, Buffalo, and then out eastward, your chances are going to diminish a little bit into the late evening hours. Then for tornadoes, that is still on the table for you guys out through the Ohio Valley Great Lakes area, particularly again in this corridor where we're potentially seeing the stronger storms. So Detroit, Grand Rapids, again, moderate for you guys. That's a 2 out of 4 risk. So, you know, it's possible that you guys could see a couple moving through your area, hopefully some short-lived, if anything. But then Cleveland, Chicago, and anywhere in between, you got a low-end chance for y'all. So that's kind of what we're watching into today. And then we'll have another storm system shift off to the east or to the west into tomorrow. But the last thing for today is really just covering temperatures for the rest of us out south. Seen a lot of triple digits across the board by around 5 p.m. Central, 113 expected in Phoenix, and then lots of 90s down in the southeast. Really nobody seeing a whole lot of relief from just that heat dome that's been baking a lot of the south and the central U.S. And then, you know, as the sun goes down, you get those cooler nighttime temperatures usually, but unfortunately we're just not seeing a lot of relief from that. 3 in the morning and still seeing temperatures in the mid to upper 80s in some areas. So, you know, not a whole lot of nighttime relief, plus those super hot daytime temperatures just make it really tough to be outside in this, time of year. So any relief you can get, drink lots of water, you know, do your thing, stay in the shade. But here's our active heat alerts for right now. Pretty much where we're seeing those triple digits is where you got those heat advisories in effects. Temperatures up to 90 to 100 degrees if you're in the southwest, and then heat index values of 100 to 110 degrees if you're anywhere in that central heat advisory area. New Jersey's kind of doing its own thing. It's got an excessive heat watch in effect right now for 106 degree heat index values right now, and then excessive heat warnings in effect for you guys down in southern Arizona and southern California for temperatures up to 105 to 120 degrees. That's not heat index, that's just the temperature. So stay inside, stay cool. It's going to be really hot through the next foreseeable future here. Then into tomorrow, now we're getting back to our storm risks. We got these isolated cells potentially forming around 3 p.m. So this is kind of why we're watching Minneapolis and Duluth area. Depending on where these form, could potentially get some very large hail out of that with another disturbance that's moving through. So better chance of storms, better storm structure out here could potentially get us some large hail through that region. That's all going to shift down to the southeast through the upper peninsula of Michigan, through parts of Wisconsin, and then potential for y'all, I know everybody in Minneapolis has kind of been waiting, Potential for them to start to see some hail as the sun's starting to go down, with any isolated storms that can kind of back build through the area, more forming through southern Minnesota, and then got storms out in the Front Range as well, kind of doing their thing this time of year. And then everything's going to track down to the southeast and, you know, see kind of a quieter night for most of us, and just some gentle rumbles of thunder in the late overnight hours for parts of central Wisconsin. Then out east, going to have the remnants of today's system pushing out that way. Going to see things see a resurgence of storms up through New York, through Pennsylvania by around 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern. As that shifts off to the east, could potentially see some higher winds as well as some hail. Should be off the coast by around midnight, and then a quiet night for y'all. So, hail risk-wise, keeping that large hail possible with that initial development of those isolated storms through parts of Wisconsin and southern Minnesota. Watching Minneapolis and Duluth, and we'll have updates for you guys tomorrow, as we always do. So moderate for you guys both right now, and keeping that red just out to your east for that 2 to 2.5 inch. And again, it's really going to change depending on where storms are consistently developing into the next 24 hours. So we'll let you know. And then everywhere else is in a low end chance to see maybe some quarters here and there for the rest of the night. Quarters to $half as well, possible anywhere through with those isolated storms out in the New England area. So from DC all the way up to Boston, Albany, you guys have a chance for some hail into tomorrow afternoon. Then for wind, watching the same two areas here. Now it's more of New York, more of Pennsylvania here, and parts of Maine that could see those gusty winds, but pretty much the same risk area out here with a low end chance across the board through the upper Midwest as well as parts of the plains. If you guys are out through New York, through Boston, right along the coastline, things might pick up a little bit as they push over you guys. So a moderate chance to see some higher winds through that area tomorrow, but pretty much anywhere from Portland, Maine, farther north all the way into central Virginia could potentially see some gusts at or above 60 miles an hour for tomorrow's forecast. Then we'll come back to you guys with tornado chances into tomorrow, as well as all the updated hail info, so come back for that. But going to leave you with the tropics for our 5 to 7 day outlook. We got no chance of development on this system for the next 2 days. It's not in super favorable conditions, but it is tracking towards favorable conditions. We've seen a lot of storms kind of start developing once they make their way up towards the Caribbean and kind of link up with those warmer waters. So it's got a 30% chance of development over the next 7 days. As that happens, we'll see if it makes it up towards the U.S., if there's going to be any wind shear issues or anything that we get as it makes it that way over the next 7 days. But right now, no development on the table, and this is really our only system to be watching. But we're moving towards August and September. That tends to be peak season for tropical systems, so I want to keep you guys updated on what's happening out in the Atlantic. But that's what we got for the next 48 hours here. Could be a busy day today for the Great Lakes and Ohio Valley, and then tomorrow into the upper Midwest. So stay tuned to our pages if you guys are in any of those highlighted areas for today and tomorrow. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. You can hit See First on Facebook so you never miss a live video. Smash that subscribe button everywhere else. And then if you want to get in contact with us, you can go ahead and scan that QR code up above me or click the link in our description if you want a demo to any of our products. We map every single severe storm live, so hail, wind, tornadoes, hurricanes. We make maps of that across the nation, so if you guys want access to where severe weather is occurring, go ahead and sign up for that demo. Or if you want more information, you can give us a call at 855-334-4245. Email us at info@hailtrace.com or check out hailtrace.com for more details. And as always, thank you guys for tuning in to our forecast. We'll be back tomorrow with more information. But for now, I'm meteorologist Andrea Myers. Thanks for watching.